How's that possible?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting adventure here at the BlasterPro Studios. With you, as always, Charles Blaster Pro.
Hello, everybody. And, of course, standing in for Matthew is Rodney tonight. Matthew, unlike last week,
somebody else's toothbrush. Use a stranger's toothbrush.
Matt has been using someone else's toothbrush, and inevitably he got sick. So he will not be here tonight, and he won't be here for workshop tomorrow night either.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that he's learned not to use green mayonnaise lube.
That's how you get an infection.
How are you doing? I heard you were talking about the hole in your foot is closing up nicely.
Yes.
So no chamber work for you?
No, it's fantastic. It's almost healed.
Excellent.
But
So-
I'm not going to tell work that because I want to keep this on while I find a new job. Because I'm severely underpaid.
Yes, you are. Matter of fact, Matt almost choked when he found out.
Yep.
Your qualifications and what you were getting paid for. And always at Mission Control, we have Hayden. No camera on Hayden.
No camera on
Hidden cam.
The problem is he controls the cameras, so he can do camera 2 like right now. Camera 2.
Eventually, he's
Camera
going
2 right now. Camera 2, there's Rodney. Camera 2. Camera 2. Hayden is on camera 2, but no, he's not going to switch it over.
Eventually, he is going to switch it over, and then I can get him.
No, because we have a show to do, and if he has to sit, he'll have his finger on camera 1 the whole time.
Challenge
Switch it back.
accepted.
Anyway, so running the switchboards is Hayden. There he is. Camera 2. Dixie Cup. Close up. Dixie Cup. It even says Dixie right on the
It's a
side. You can
mold.
see it.
It's a mold, guys. See?
Oh, there you go. Mold.
Mold.
Gross.
Just looks like a cup of snot.
I know.
Really.
Well, I had to get the clear stuff so I could see where I was cutting.
So anyway, no, Matt. So we're bummed. Hope Matt starts hopefully feeling better. I believe he said he had strep throat. So
Has anyone heard what he sounds like?
no, that doesn't really mess with your voice too much. It just makes everything swallowing and doing anything miserably painful.
I figured after he stopped bothering me on Monday about whether I sent in resumes to things that he was sick. Because it was like all morning and I had all those trouble calls and then it's silence.
Yeah. You know, if you send me pictures of boats, make sure it's in my price range.
Dude,
That army boat, that is not my price.
I would sell organs for that.
What is that? A fast attack boat?
No, it's a river patrol boat.
It's a river patrol
yeah.
boat.
Yeah, they used to put flamethrowers and 40s.
I hear those won't flick. Those won't sink because they're like foam fit.
No, that's the other one. Those cost
Those
like
are
$2 million. Yeah.
Is that the Brown Navy? The Brown
Yeah,
Water Navy?
I was looking for that and I found that they were later. They were 70s.
Yeah. Well, he said it'll be fine by Thursday. Yeah. So
He also says dogs can't look up.
a quarter of $250,000, I can't afford. You got to bring it down a lot.
Okay, guys, we want to crowdfund this. Chuck and I have a plan. It involves a boat and possible piracy.
We have designed the broadside cannons. They will fire blank.
So
12-gauge
we
shotguns.
need about $250,000 for this.
That's just a starter. We still will have a very impressive wet bar that will also need to be kitted out.
And a pole. Big brass pole.
I don't even know where we would put the brass pole.
We'll find a place.
Captain's quarters. All right. What does he say? They said a Titanic wouldn't sink. Yeah, you know what? Where we're planning is tropical waters. There's not going to be any icebergs.
Just hurricanes.
Running aground, a different story. Yes, and hurricanes. But anyway, no biggie. So moving along, Etsy is super, super busy. We're having a great time over there trying to fill orders. I am looking to my left, a stack of orders already in process. I also shipped out. Dude, I have actually gone from shipping on Monday and Friday to shipping on Monday, Tuesday. Last week I shipped on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This week so far I've shipped on Monday and Tuesday. I have nothing to go out tomorrow. So I think this week it'll be Monday, Tuesday, and then Friday.
Why do you draw little circles and check marks?
to help me remember what I'm doing. Drawing you a diagram.
Oh, a
Yeah.
diaphragm.
Drawing a Venn diagram.
So anyway, and also BlasterProShop.com is where you can still find my entire inventory. Minus actually a few things that are on Etsy now that aren't not on the BlasterProShop.com page. That website is working. It is a email us, and we will work out arrangements through PayPal setup right now, because having a ready-to-go teller system or ready-to-go payout system costs a few dollars a month, and actually to have a setup postal calculator and all that stuff also costs about $18-19 a month plus all the fees. So we just never have put any more money into it. We just kind of fly by your seat, but it does work. We've proven it works. So
Oh, I had a printer problem this week.
was it an HP printer and has something to do with the little microchip computer chips in it that won't allow you to use third-party cartridges?
No, I followed the manufacturer's directions in trying to update the software on my touchscreen, and now it doesn't work at all.
That sounds bad. Is it an HP?
No, it's a Creality.
You always break things.
Oh. You're talking about a 3D printer.
Yeah, I think I
Okay.
can retrofit one of my old LCD screens to it and get it to work. And if I'm going to do that, I might as well redo the Marlin software so I actually have more options.
Did you know that you are kind of like the Tim Allen of the geek community?
More
Like
power.
everything he went to fix, he just broke. Such as his washing machine. I remember the washing machine scene, lawnmower scene, on and on and on. Anyway, Home Improvement, Tim Allen, yes. Anyway, actually didn't know what's her name get a start on Home Improvement
Hey, my teacher was on that.
before she moved on to Baywatch. Pamela Anderson.
Gary McGurk. He was a recurring character.
Really?
He was the guy with the mustache who, the construction workers who played the songs.
Yeah. With the tools, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. That was actually a good show. Yeah, I don't see that anywhere. Like it's not like playing for, like on streaming stations. I don't know where you would find it if it is streaming anywhere. Anyway,
He tried to get me to move to California to write screenplays.
yeah, my brother went to California to work on a movie, and I can tell you how well that worked for
Mm-hmm.
him. Anyway, we're moving on. New blasters coming to Etsy this month. The DL18 Skiff Guard blaster is going to be coming up. You don't have to pull it up because you haven't got the DH17. Remember this? Go ahead, throw it up there. This is what's going up. Beautiful.
that
And
was
the DT12 Jawa blaster is also going up. Yes, that one. And it is also beautiful.
That was quick too. That was really, really quick.
And where's your DH17? You don't have a DH17, do you? All right. He didn't want to get a DH17. The DH17 A&H DH17 is also going up on Etsy. Those three blasters will be up. The DT12 is almost finished, and it's sitting right here. And we're actually going to, one of the weathering things we're going to do tonight is actually going to be finishing up this blaster so we can take photos of it and get it up on Etsy. This month's contest, it'll be on the 28th, the last Tuesday of the month. We're going to be playing Trivial Pursuits, which I've kind of, we're working out the bugs, and we're going to come up with some, we've worked out some new rules since the last time we played it, month before last. I still like it. So that's going to be on the March 28th. It's going to be Trivial Pursuit. And here comes the fun part, the prize. Normally every month we give away a blaster. All right. See you next Tuesday. You're not coming out to workshop tomorrow, Nick? Anyway, we give away this month, since we're trying to get the inventory or trying to get all the blasters up on Etsy, we have to take new photographs of them. So we've got tons of blasters laying around from doing that. And So we're actually going to be giving away one of 3 blasters this month. We're either going to be giving away the DL18 Skiff Guard blaster, the A&H Hero, which you have a photo of that. He's on his phone. Typical kids. Typical kids on his phone.
How dare you?
There you go. D8 A&H Hero DL44 and the DT12 Jawa version. And like I said, that's sitting right here. And we're going to finish weathering that tonight and talk about all things painting and weathering. Tonight, we're going to stick to blasters, and we're going to do blasters tonight mainly. But this will go around to anything, knives, any handheld, smaller stuff. Next week, we have a lot more planned because we're going to be doing some crazy stuff next week. So
Making dice?
Yeah, we're already doing that. We'll talk about that at the end of the night. So anyway, moving on. Tonight, we're going to be having Rodney operate a camera. And
Who remembers how this goes?
Yeah, that's his. No, you're going to behave, sir.
I'm behaving.
So anyway, Rodney's going to be running the close-up camera on what I'm going to be doing. We'll be talking about some things, and when I start working, then Rodney will be doing some close-up hand-style filming. We should just have the camera mounted up here.
That's why I was offering a miniature tripod.
Yeah, Hayden,
I
I actually, that was a wise decision. I was kind of really anticipating.
Ooh, buttons.
No,
don't
touch
screw
the
this.
buttons. We got it set. See, when it's on a tripod, you set everything and you don't have anybody to touch the buttons.
It's got all these cables attached to it.
Oh, I know, yeah.
And tape. Don't forget the duct tape.
The tape is to keep all the cables from being pulled out.
On tour, we call that gaff tape
Really? All right. Yeah, don't touch anything.
because everything is.
All right. So anyway. All right. First off, what I really would like to talk about is a quick overview of some of the paints that I use, what I use them. There's a few things. My categories are cost, availability, and how fast they dry, because I don't want to mess around. This is another piece we're going to be doing. We're going to be redoing the pipe, the lead pipe paint tutorial we did. I think it was on Facebook, wasn't it?
I think so.
Okay, so that doesn't exist on YouTube, so it'll exist on Facebook now. Anyway, whenever I paint a helmet or I paint anything that's going to have chip away weathering or anything like that, like some of the pieces on this blaster were pre-painted before they went on to the blaster. So you'll be here tonight. Is that what you're saying?
He's
Or
in
tomorrow
the
night.
yard right now.
Not for a very long time.
Okay. Well, anyway.
He's spying on us as we speak.
Yeah. So anyway, right off the bat, I like silver paint that will dry fast and be somewhat durable. So my silver paint of choice for like metal and aluminum type stuff is this right here. This is Rust-Oleum ×2 plate plus primer metallic. This doesn't do the chromy type stuff. It's a little duller than that, but it works good as a bare metal. The thing about this is it's dry to the touch and you can handle it within 15 minutes of spraying, as long as you don't go nuts. You can get it covered, light coats, get it fully covered. Once you're done painting, 15 minutes, you can handle it and ready to go. All my blasters, this is what I actually paint the blasters in. And this is Rust-Oleum Protector Satin Enamel. This stuff here, out of all the blacks, and I've used Krylon, I've used them all, this is the fastest drying. If you set this in front of a fan, within a half hour, you can handle it and continue on your way to finishing the blaster. It covers good and it dries fast. As long as you don't load up your coats, do one light medium or one light coat, and then 2 to 3 medium coats afterwards with about 5 minutes in between for flashing. And you will have a paint job that will be able to be handled without a fan, probably in an hour. With a fan, it could be as short as a half hour. This is, and Hayden knows, as I'm upset when we go to the store and they're out of this stuff. So it lasts a long time. It'll do a lot of blasters. It'll cover up a lot of material. This works great. And this is the only thing I use for my blasters. And a quick note, don't use flat black for blaster paint. Flat black, it doesn't work. It's too chalky. It's too dry looking. You need something with a little bit of a sheen, but not a glossy sheen. And this satin enamel black works great. And yeah. We use it all the time. This is all I use to paint my blasters. And once your blaster is painted, now this is the DT12. It's the Jawa blaster. Go ahead and give us camera 2 so we can play around with this a little bit. But as you can see, this part of the blaster is all weathered. You can see all the weathering here, and even we're going to be doing a little bit of this dust and dirt right here. That's in the crevices. You can see that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, looks good, doesn't it? But if you notice, the flash suppressor was painted and then put on the blaster. So we're going to weather this flash suppressor to match this grimy, worn, desert, Tatooine blaster. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Is first off, we're going to do the DT12, and then we're going to do the lead pipe right here. So dry brushing is where you get your worn metal look. Dry brushing is actually very easy and sometimes actually difficult if you don't understand.
Brushes?
No, it's not really brushes.
Dry?
Paint.
If you don't understand what types of paint to use.
Physics.
One thing is, some people will try to dry brush with a thicker paint, and traditionally a thinner paint will work. I used to use a toner from work. It was coarse aluminum was the toner, and they have a number. If you don't know what toners are, when they're mixing paint for, like in a body shop, when you're mixing paint for a car, we have a shelf of like 100 different toners. And those toners go in different ratios to create different colors for painting cars. And the toner I used to use was a toner called coarse aluminum. I can't remember. I think the number is 170 off the paint line we were using. But that was my dry brushing, but it was a 50-50. It was toner and then 50% reducer. And over time, the toner, it was harder for me to get an ounce of toner because I would just ask the paint suppliers, say, hey, could you send an ounce of this toner, an ounce of this toner? And they give them to me for free. But as paint prices and everything have gone up and things have gotten really crazy, the toners just, no one's doing that. No one will do it. And I work in a shop now that does not use those toners. They use a water-based system, which is totally different. And it actually doesn't work well for weathering. I tried it. It doesn't work good. So I came up with a workaround. I use Rust-Oleum Bright Coat Metallic Finish. Now, this is what you would call your spray can chrome. I actually do not use this to spray a finish because it takes forever to dry, and then on top of taking forever to dry, it fingerprints, it not peels off, but it scratches easily. It's not very durable, and it does not like to be coated with just about any clear coat. So I only use it for one thing and one thing only, and that's for dry brushing. And that's what we're going to do right now. So I always take a little Dixie cup, shake it up really well. Rodney, you have anything to add?
Shake, shake, shake.
There you go.
Shake, shake, shake.
Kind of a light night tonight. Anyway,
Would you watch us?
I would not. Actually, yes, I would. So anyway, so I'm going to spray it in the Dixie cup.
Careful.
There you go.
Doesn't that work better if you put it in a bag?
No, actually, you know what works best? If you actually spray it through a straw.
That was a huffing joke.
Yeah, I know. But there you go. I got a little bit down at the bottom of my cup. That's all I need. I don't need a lot. Paper towel and a acid brush. Acid brushes are disposable. You can buy them by the pack, by the 10-pack at Harbor Freight. I get mine at the body shop, but yes. But anyway, so basically what we do is saturate, and it'll just leach. It'll climb right up the hairs of the brush. Then I'm going to get off as much as possible. And then after I got that, and I'm going to go straight to a piece of paper towel and remove even more. And you would think, oh, this is safe. You'd be surprised, but this is still too wet. So first off, when it's wet like this, go ahead, Rodney, camera 2.
Camera 2.
The thing you want to do is go ahead and start doing your scratches. So let's scratch the end of the flash suppressor. We got the heaviest amount of paint. And as the brush starts to dry out, you can kind of get a feel for it. So you go a little bit longer, lightly do these areas here. You bring up highlights. The one thing I always liked about tooled parts, like this flash suppressor is cast from a tooled aluminum, so it grabs the tooling marks. Now, this is an MG18, and if you know anything about MG18s, this area right here on the original World War II machine gun is where you would set your head pressure or adjust your barrel, and there's a clicky. These little indents would click. So there'd be a piece that would lock in here and it would slide over top of these. So these would already be somewhat heavily marred, just like on an MG42 or a MG34. They all have a similar mechanism and they all have a very similar wear pattern in this area. So now we're just doing this. Now you think this thing's been holstered a bazillion times. So we're going to wear it really thin there. So this is the dry brushing. When you're dry brushing, always think about what a piece is going to be doing. Well, this blaster here is a Jawa blaster. So obviously it was already found. It may have been thrown away and Jawa's picked it up. So this is going to be a pretty nasty piece. And it's going to be a very worn piece. So I'm going to do the dry brushing on this. Get along the bottom here. All right. What do you think? That looks pretty good. That brings it back in with the rest of the gun, doesn't it? There you go.
Doesn't look new anymore.
Now, so there you go. That's our first step on bringing this in to being... There it is. Perfect.
Beautiful.
All right, back to camera 1 real quick. All right, that's the first step to getting it back into weathering. Oh, by the way, I've just thought about this. We don't know if they're going to shut us down for this with the handling of these and all that. So bear with us. If we do pop away, come back and. Like I said, we should just have a waiting room where I can go to. But anyway, we'll be back up and running to finish the night. So now that we got this weathering done, the the dry brushing, which simulates on this particular paint job. The dry brushing simulates wear through the bluing or the paint job that's on it. This particular item would have been a blued type item, chemically blued, so it would have been black. And this is just typical wear that you would have. And like I said, the flash suppressor up here, clicky click, you have that. It's a little indentation. It's spring loaded, so you go click 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 click, and that's to adjust for a switched out barrel. So anyway, on this item, we're going to go grungy dirt, and my grungy dirt paint of choice is what, Hayden? Burnt umber. And I like to go...
Oddly, the same color all over my scalp.
Yes. So I like to go with paints that are easy to find and cheap. This paint job looks awesome, and this burnt umber and this territorial beige, which will be our sand color.
Territorial?
Territorial beige. There you go.
It's named after the British Army.
So anyway, the territorial beige and
the British Army is beige.
The territorial beige and the burnt umber. We picked these up at Walmart. They used to be 50 cents a piece. Now they're
60.
I thought they were 59 cents a piece now. They've gone up. Like everything else in the world, they've gone up. So you need these two acrylics, and then a little bit of water. So what I kind of like to do, especially since I'm going to be doing more acrylic work, I'm going to rip most of this Dixie cup off, and just got me a little thing here. Always start with the darker color. So the darker color in this instance is going using black. We don't see any black, but on DL44's ESB and Return of the Jedi, I use black on the flash suppressors. So a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of water. Now, I'm going to use the same paintbrush. We'll mix up the paint. Now, when you're dry brushing, you're thinking about areas of wear. Where are things going to normally wear? Like I got a lot of weathering on the trigger guard because it's going into the holster. It's doing this, it's doing that. It's getting worn. On the bottom of the magazine, it's getting worn. On all the edges, it's heavily worn. Now, when you're doing a dirt weathering, you're not worrying about where the dirt's going to get because you just put the dirt everywhere. Let the dirt go everywhere. So what we're going to do is we're just going to coat this whole thing in dirt. Remember, like I said, go dark first and then light on top of it. If you put the lighter colors down first, what will happen is you won't see them. You'll cover them up with the darker. So you do dark, then the lighter. So you work from dark to light. Oops. All right, there we go. That looks pretty good. All right. Now, I'll grab a towel. This is just an old rag or whatever. And the first thing I'll do is I'll do a dab out. I'm going to dab it all down. And sometimes when I do the dab, I will stop and I'll let it dry a little bit. Maybe blow on it. Because on flash suppressors, I'll let it dry and I'll come over with the same rag again, maybe a little bit moist, and I'll start scrubbing it off. Actually, now that I'm thinking about this, I'm going to simulate that on this pipe here because I honestly did not think about chrome flash suppressors, but there's a good technique with this exact same process on those. So I'm just going to dab this, kind of clean it up a little bit, but I'm not trying to wipe it all off. I'm just hitting the high spots. I'm cleaning it off. But there you go. See how it's thick right along here, but not so much everywhere else? Because, you know, it'll get worn off anyway. If this rag, just dabbing the rag is going to knock it off, that means normal wear and tear is going to not wipe it off. So let's give this a minute to sit and chill. I'm going to clean my brush and get the next paint ready. Go back to camera 1. Thank you, Rodney. You're doing an excellent job.
Better than I usually do as Captain Chaos?
You're doing great. As Captain Chaos, you are doing awesome.
Hear that? I did awesome.
Matt's not watching.
Usually I get the disapproving look from Dad.
Me?
Yeah, do the disapproving look. It's when you take your glass and you kind of move them down like this.
Blow on it again. Nick, you're starting to get creepy.
He is very creepy.
He is Navy. They have rules about buggery there. And cannibalism.
So anyway.
You ever mix the two, Nick?
So what we got now is we've done the dry brush. And doing the dry brush, we have brought the wear pattern and try to match it. This is a heavily weathered gun. Like I said, it's Tatooine. You know, I actually saw something really cool. Speaking of Tatooine, you know, when they're walking into the cantina, this is an original prop. It was originally there, and there was actually some rendered artwork of what the ship originally looked like. And it's a ship. There's 2 engines stacked on top of each other, and some fuselage pieces or wing pieces going up with no material on them. And it's right next to where you go into the cantina. Anyway, there was this thing about Tatooine where wrecks are kind of considered to be memorials or holy sites because no one goes to Tatooine who's doing good. Some people end up just barely getting there and crash landing, if you know what I'm saying. So anything that comes off of Tatooine is going to be worn out big time. So it was a funny thing. It was actually a really good. So this guy that has this YouTube channel, what he does is he pauses frames and finds background ships and then reconstructs them. It's like, what is this? You know, and finds out what it is. It's a pretty cool website. Or a YouTube channel. I wish I actually knew what it was because I would plug it even more. But anyway, so now that we got the burnt umber on, our dark color, we're going to go with a lighter color, which is what do we got? Territorial beige. Now, the territorial beige, I'm also not going to add as much water to it. I'm going to use it, but I'm going to add just a little bit of water, not as much as I used on the other one. Territorial beige is going to get a lot less water because I kind of want it to be a little bit more thicker. And the reason why I want it to be a little more thicker is because this is our sand. This is the sand you're dealing with on Tatooine.
So you're not going to paint it and have me throw sand at it like Matt?
No, I'm going to paint it. I was not outside for that. I'm going to paint it, and then I'm going to dab it. But since the paint is heavier, thicker, I mean, it's going to be able to. Now this is all water based, so if you don't like it, just grab you a little bit of water and you can knock it right off. Okay. All right, there we go. So I'm going to go over this now. See, now, something like this right here is muddy water. but I don't want muddy water. What I want is sand, dusty sand.
So all you mud troopers out there, take note.
Well, that's a thick black, dark mud, a dark brown mud. See, now it looks more like a sand, less like a dirt or a light mud. Now I'm going to go through and I'm really going to buff it off. Really going to try to buff it off. And what I'm hoping to get around the flash suppressor is a little bit of the brown and the tan working together. There you go. See how in there we got a little bit of sand in there, sand stuck in there. We got a little bit of brown up in here and sand. And this is a miscast flash suppressor, by the way. You can see right here.
It looks like heat damage or something.
It does look like heat damage. What actually I believe happened was it was setting up, the material was setting up as it was going in, and it caused these pop marks. But I actually think they look cool. So there it is. Now when we do the photos, we're going to wrap and put an orange tip on this, but this is the finished blaster that you guys will be competing for as one of the possible winners this weekend. Or
This
next
weekend?
week. Or the week after next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Switch to camera 1.
Yeah. Camera 1. All right. So there you go. That's how I do. That's a quick overview of how I do the dirt and weathering on some of these blasters. And actually, a similar process, we use white acrylic paint and baking soda and mix that into a paste. And that's actually used to create a simulated snow on the Han ESB Hoth blaster.
So they didn't use asbestos?
Well, they used real snow, but when they destroyed the probe droid, if you look when Han's got his blaster up by his ear, it has snow compacted into the blaster. There's snow on the blaster. So if you wanted to recreate the that blaster the way it was, like when he was out there taking care of the probe droid, yeah, that's how you'd want to do it. Now, one thing I wanted to note or talk about was the towel I'm using. The reason why I use the towel and not paper towel, sometimes you can use sponges for this, but when you are dabbing your paint, you are putting a pattern, and your dabber is causing the pattern. And if you use this, go ahead and put a close-up, camera 2. If you use this paper towel, you see the pattern in the paper towel? That will actually be transmitted into your paint as you dab. As you do the dab, this pattern on the paper towel would go in. That's why I use a rag. If you see how much more random and, and there's certain types of sponges that also have a very good, like makeup sponges, have a very good texture that that will allow you to not create a random pattern, like I said, like a bounty pattern. So, yeah. Moving on to the pipe. Now, you could say this is a sword blade, an old sword, an antique sword. You could say this is like an old sword, old knife, or even a completely bare metal blaster or a component to a blaster or whatever. And this is something we did when we were on Facebook. I kind of miss Facebook, but I don't miss Facebook. You know what I mean? But how long have we been on Facebook? Has it been 2 years yet? It's been at least a year, right? It's been over a year. But anyway, going off of, so this is something we did and we did not do it on, we've never done it on here. We've pulled old reference. We pulled it down last week and talked about it, but this is just a piece of PVC pipe. If you can look down the middle, or it's still white underneath. I used this Rust-Oleum American Accents 2 times paint plus primer metallic. This stuff dries fast. I painted it just before the show, so it dries fast. It works good. I use this. This is used on the Mirror Sun. It was used here on this areas here. Great stuff. So anyway, so what we're going to do tonight, first off, is we're going to take some more of, actually, I'm going to dump some of this brown out because I want it a little bit thicker now. So we're going to take some burnt umber. Ooh, yeah.
Make your blasters happy, blasters.
We're going to take some burnt umber. We're going to mix it up. It's got a little bit of the mixed up burnt umber in here also. But what we're going to do is we're going to start. We're going to get rid of that burnt umber snot. I don't know why acrylic paints do that. So we're going to start painting it up really good. We're only going to do half of it, though. We're not going to do the whole thing. We're only going to do this half because I'm going to hold the bottom half. So I want a good coating, thicker. This is almost completely unreduced paint out of the can, the way it comes. All right. And I'm actually going to do the flash suppressor thing that I do on the ends here. But so now we got it all burnt umbered. Like I said, these are all 50-cent paints. We're going to dab. Now you see how the dabbing pattern is not consistent. Unlike if I dabbed with this. Look at that. See the bup, bup, bup. You see the texture and the design? You're not going to get that from a rag. So you dab the rag, dab it down, dab it, dab it, dab it, dab it. Now you want to get it to where it's semi. There you
Transparent.
go. Yeah, see that? See how it looks right there? Yeah. How quickly it gives you a detail. Now I'm going to go a little bit more because I want to take more of this off. Because we're going to layer this. We're going to create a layered effect. So what this right here now is doing is this is simulating the worn rusty. This is not the orange rust. This is the old brown rust. That's what we're simulating right now, okay? That's what we're doing right now. So now that's on there. We're going to go to the next one. I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to pull out another. I'm going to do the whole Terry. Oh, yeah, get rid of that one. I don't know how that happened. Oh, by the way, the more you use the rag, the better. So just keep the rag around. I was looking for my my weathering rag and I couldn't find it. And I think I threw it in the washing machine last week.
With your bunk socks?
Yeah, exactly. So now what we're doing, we're going to clean the brush. The brush is clean. We're going to black. There we go.
Is this black number 1?
This is black. This is this one here says it is, I can't even tell. It doesn't matter if it's enamel, gloss, or flat. The way we're putting it on and the way we're going to use it, it really doesn't matter. So first off, I'm going to do right here with this. Now, if you notice, I'm not going completely full coverage. Now I'm going to add a little bit of water because I want a more reduced for the other end, because I'm going to simulate on the other end, this end, what I do for flash suppressors. So I do a full coverage on flash suppressors. All right, so grab my towel. I'm going to dab this first. Go all the way around it. Dab, 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 dab.
Ooh, looks like something I would have had to work on at Emory.
Yeah. Now I'm going to come up and I'm going to dab this little bit wetter mix for the flash suppressors. I'm going to dab it like so. Now I'm going to leave that for a minute. I'm going to come back to this. Now I'm dabbing. At the same time I'm dabbing, I'm actually putting a little bit of sideways or spinning motion in. And what I'm doing is creating a wear pattern. See the wear pattern that's put in it? So now I'm going to rub it. This is actually the same thing I do on the flash suppressors. I should have, but let's do the flash suppressors. This right here, this look right here, is what I like to call the Dagobah grime. So on this one here, actually I probably went a little too quick, because what I've done is I've actually removed the brown. I've gone a little too fast, but this is what I really was looking for right here on this area right here. See how we got the browns mixed in with the black. The black is kind of like when you have rust. When you clean up a piece of rust, there's going to be left behind black spots in the metal. And that's kind of what this up here is. But this is a little bit of the brown and a little bit of the black up here, right around here. This area here, excuse me, I washed it almost all the way. On this end is where this is what I do to the flash suppressors. If you look in, especially on Empire Strikes Back, both Han and Luke's flash suppressors are extremely grimy. And this is the kind of grime that's on them. And it's literally just a little bit of acrylic black with a little bit of water. And you dab it and let it dry for a second. And then you try to rub it off. And you end up with these types of finishes. And this right here with the brown mixed in gives you a little bit of rusty metal, corrosion. This area is a wear area. You can see how it's clean. But this here and down here is much more dirty and grimy. And to tie this all in, I use spray wood finish. And what the spray wood finish does is, especially with firearms, go ahead and go back to camera one. With firearms, there is another element, oil. Every gun, even though it's worn and been heavily used, especially military type of weapons, has been oiled and oiled heavily. I'm using golden oak wood finish, Minwax spray finish. And what this is going to do is this is going to add an oily look or an oily finish to it. This works good on certain blasters. I don't do it on this one. I don't do it on these, but on certain blasters, you do it on. And it adds a level. Since this has some more of a dry desert type of environment that it's in, and a level of neglect, you don't have the oil. But on this one, we're going to add the oil in this area here. I'm going to do it off to the side. Maybe not, because it is clogged. Rodney? Go ahead and clean that tip off for me. Yeah, give me a little. We're going to see if we can rectify this. So, the other way to do it is... Did you get shot?
Almost.
All right. So, one of the other ways to do it is if you actually purchase... if you have stain laying around, you can actually brush the stain on and let it air dry. Now, stains are oil-based, and they take forever if they do ever dry. That's why I like the spray, because the spray stuff... I finally got it. The spray stuff actually will... it will dry.
It doesn't want to come out the hole, but it wants to come out the top.
It wants to come out everywhere, but so the tip is clogged.
Yeah.
Okay. So we may not get our oil coating, but what it does, Hayden, go ahead and can you grab me right there by right up there, right where the old pipe used to be? It's still up there. There it is. So this is the demonstration pipe that we used when we did this tutorial or this show and tell the first time on YouTube or Facebook. So go ahead and without it, because
1 sec.
No.
I got an idea.
Just run camera 2. All right. Let's do a comparison. Do you see the oily finish that's on this now as compared to this? Now, the topper to finish this off is this oily finish right here. See how it kind of has an amber look to it? That sells, especially on machine or mechanical blasters, old machinery. If you're doing set dressing, this is the finish that sells. This is not. This is almost there. This just needed that last coat to really tie it all together. And you see how beautifully that kind of gives it that antiqued, oil-stained look. This is still too clean. This just needed that one thing to tie it together, and that is that amber coating, or like I said, it's basically a Minwax wood finish coating.
So it's like the rug in the Big Lebowski?
Kind of, yeah, ties the whole room together. Yeah, exactly. Damn Chinaman. So that's it. That actually, you see how the difference, what really would have made this one turn out great. This is not bad. You can still use this, although it's rolling around in other stuff, but
You just did it to that one too.
It's that burnt umber snot. Anyway, but you can see the difference between the two. This is older, more worn, more oil stained, and this one's new and we haven't finished yet. And you put a coat of that, coat of this, and you end up with this finish here as opposed to this finish here. And that's actually a secret that I haven't really told a lot of people. But yeah, tie it all together, a little bit of Minwax, spray on wood finish. It does wonders. All right. Any questions? Hernan!
Hey, Hernan!
See, he's supposed to be watching out for you, Hernan.
I was busy filming.
I know he was. Tonight's a camera 2 night. 1 camera, 2 camera. You got camera 1, we got camera 2. So anyway, yeah, I've doesn't that look that? I mean, in real eyes, doesn't that look that much better?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's something Matt would hit me with.
Yeah, but it looks you know how oil, when you work with machines anyway, you know how oil stains and So anyway, that is weathering the DT12 for Java use as opposed to Greedo use. Oh, and by the way, this is going to be one of our giveaway blasters at the end of the month. And I actually like this blaster with the Han Solo flash suppressor on there, the MG18 flash suppressor. I think it looks awesome. So next week, we're just going to go in a review, Hayden.
It does feel like a Ruger Mark IV, though.
It is a Ruger.
Don't say nothing.
That is a Ruger. Any questions on weathering?
I think most people just got here.
I know. What was there, a football game? What was going on? Where was everybody at?
I blame Jeff.
It doesn't matter because I think this is a good episode. And just like all good episodes, for some reason, they gain great traction.
I'm so cold.
And didn't Nick say he was leaving and never did leave? All right, Nick. So Rodney just informed me he is super cold. So remember, Etsy, for all your blaster needs, everything I have available except for what's on BlasterPro.com. Etsy is super busy. I'm loving it. I have a huge set of orders right now, almost like it was in the old days when I first started. Also, on the 28th, we will be playing Trivial Pursuit. When we spin the wheel and all that fun stuff, you have the option of winning. Well, we're also putting the blasters. I didn't say this earlier. We're also putting the blasters on the wheel at the end of the night. So whoever we find out the winner is, then we're going to spin the wheel of blasters and see what blaster you'll win. The blasters going to be on the wheel is this actual very DT12, an A&H Hero DL44, and a DL18 Skiff Guard blaster. So what we got? We got 2 A New Hope blasters and 1 Return of the Jedi blaster. I was thinking we had one from each, but we don't. Also, next week is where everybody wants to be here because next week is going to be nuts. We're going to be talking about helmet/armor weathering. We're going to be doing a layered paint job, giving with the chip away effect and all that fun stuff. Also, we're going to be doing spray and buff weathering, which is consistent with your Clone Wars type of armor, your clones, the way the armor was weathered in the Clone Wars series. That's going to be a spray and buff weathering. We're also going to be doing a Fuller's Earth weathering, and that is going to be using a couple techniques I learned. And Fuller's Earth is cool because you can make Fuller's Earth look like wet mud, and you can make Fuller's Earth look like dust and dirt.
You're going to do chalk as well, like we did with my Scout?
Well, Fuller's Earth falls into the chalk type thing, the way we did the chalk on yours. It's the same process. So join us next week when I'm actually trying to figure out what we're going to be weathering, whether I cast a couple of Stormtrooper chest pieces or if I just do shoulder bells. And I'm thinking I'm kind of just going to do shoulder bells. We're going to do maybe some Stormtrooper shoulder bells and paint them up white and weather them the way the clones are weathered, the way Sand Troopers were weathered, and the way Boba Fett's helmet was painted. So we're gonna cover a lot of stuff next week, a lot more than we did this week. This week was very basic. Next week, we're just gonna jump right into it because we're gonna have a ton to cover. So I hope everyone had a good time tonight. Okay, I will be there. And Hernan always has his 0.5. You're supposed to read that, but of course it's not big enough for you to
No, I
read.
can't see anything.
So anyway, I hope everyone learned something and enjoyed tonight's. If you missed the earlier part of the show, go ahead and rewatch it, like it, do all that fun stuff. Let it go all over the internet, and it generates fun for us, more fans, more customers, all that fun stuff for me. Customers, Hayden's over. Customers, more customers. Good night, Hanan, and good night, everyone else.
Good night, everybody.